Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. We're going to be doing another Contender Series video. It's actually, I think there are going to be 3 more weeks, I believe, so we can make a little bit of money with this one. And just like last time, this is going to be a picks-only video, and you have to check Odds HQ. I'm going to be doing my full betting perspective as well, and more than likely, I'm going to be doing a video as well for Pub Sports Radio with Dana White Contender Series videos, so I'll post those in the description, so make sure to check those out and support the channel if you can. That would be awesome. And we're going to get right into it with the predictions here with the first fight of the night. Jared Vanderaa taking on Harry Hunsucker. And Hunsucker here, he's coming in on short notice. He's 6-2, but he's done pretty well recently. He began his career 1-2. He's won 5 in a row. And he just won 2 weeks ago. He won with the first round Kimura. But the guy he beat was 9-14. He only has 1 win over an opponent with a winning record. And this is actually going to be the first time that Hunsuckers came and fought on the West Coast. But he's not really a great fighter, in my opinion, on the feet. He is pretty athletic. He's aggressive, but very hittable. He does have some decent kicks, and he'll throw some straight punches, but he'll just get very wild. He'll start to wing shots, and it makes him very hittable. And he tries to bull rush opponents and then take them down. And his wrestling, isn't terrible, but it could be better. And when he does get an opponent down, he is aggressive. He has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he'll try to get to side control. He'll attack Kimuras, Americanas, and he wears on guys until they give their backs, and he's hit some rear naked chokes. But, he has 4 submission wins, 2 knockouts. He's finished all of his wins, and he's never gone to the second round in any of his wins or losses. So, he's never been to the second round. He's been knocked out in both of his losses, so he's just only shown he's been able to be a first round fighter so far in his career. And his opponent, Jared Vanderaa, he's a Team Quest guy. He's 10-4, and he's coming off a unanimous decision win over Tony Lopez in December. And he maybe has beaten a bit better competition, but he's also fought a lot of low level guys. He's fought some more higher level competition, I'll say that, but in terms of beating, he's only beaten a couple guys that are, worth of note. And he does have a big experience edge, and he's a guy who kind of breaks you down on the feet. He chops you down with low kicks, good pressure, kind of stiff though, but he has a really long reach, and he keeps guys at bay with the jab. He's hittable, but he has a really good chin. And I feel that he's clearly the more technical striker, but early on he's probably going to have to weather a blitz from Hunsucker. Vanderaa, he's a big guy, he can grapple as well. He just recently got his black belt, and he likes to maul guys in the clinch, good knees, good control. His takedown defense is pretty good, and his takedown game is okay. In the clinch he can get you down. He has finished 8 of his 9 wins, 3 submissions, 5 knockouts, and he has good cardio for a heavyweight, which I feel like is going to, maybe pay dividends here in this fight. I feel like maybe in the first round they're going to grapple a little bit. Hunsucker is going to get tired. Vanderaa is going to get that top position and get a submission, get a finish. So I'm going to go with Vanderaa. I just feel like he has a lot more high-level experience. He's a little bit better as a fighter. The bigger guy in there. He has actually had the camp, and I think the UFC wants him to win. I think Hunsucker, he's a decent regional scene guy, but I don't think he's ever going to make it to the UFC. So I'm going to go with Jared Vanderaa here. And in this next one, we have one of the better fights on the card with Vince Murdock taking on Luis Saldana. And it's a featherweight fight, and it's good to see Vince Murdock back in the cage. He actually was already in the UFC. He was set to fight Jordan Griffin, but it was revealed he had a rare brain disease, and he's been away from the sport for nearly 2 years, but I guess it's all behind him now. He's ready to go. And his opponent, Luis Saldana, he's also coming off a long layoff, 1 year and 8 months. I'm not sure why Saldana's been out for so long, but both fighters are coming out of good camps. Vince Murdock trains at Team Alpha Mill. Saldana's over at Fight Ready in Arizona. And Vince Murdock, he has a lot to prove coming in here. The level of competition for Murdock is pretty suspect. He has fought in the SFL, and there's been a lot of weird endings. He had one fight end because of a small cut, and he had another fight where he got kicked in the nuts, and the ref said it was an inside leg kick, and there was some controversy. And the fight is a loss on a Sherdog record, but it's a win on Tapology, so not really sure what happened there. But Murdock, he's more of a striker. He has good hand speed. He's decent at cutting angles, staying in and out, and he has a fast jab, good 1-2. Throw a lot of lead left hooks, and he's a powerful guy. He has a big overhand right. He's good at mixing clinch knees to the body, to the head, and in close range he can rattle guys. He'll throw some occasional leg kicks. He has good round kicks to the body, pretty good switch kick to the head, and even he'll throw some side kicks and spinning kicks, spinning back fist. But isn't the most athletic guy, isn't the lightest on his feet. He's a little bit flat-footed. In the pocket, if you trade with him, he can be kind of dangerous, though, because he has a low center of gravity and, bobs and weaves and comes back over the top, and good defense. But at range, he doesn't really have great defense. He holds his hands low, tries to use his head and body movement, but can get tagged trying to get inside, ducks his head a lot, and I feel like he's susceptible to, knees and uppercuts and kicks. And he has 8 knockouts. He has been finished by strikes once. He doesn't really look like the best grappler. He will go for takedowns sometimes. He has good takedown defense. But, he does have good ground and pound after he hurts you. But I really haven't seen, much of his jiu-jitsu. I haven't seen him get on top or try to get submissions or control. So I don't know if he's going to do that in this fight. It's probably going to be a striking fight. And his opponent, Luis Saldana, he's fought in LFA most recently. He's won 3 fights in a row, but 13-6 isn't really the best record. And he has some questionable losses, but he's a young guy, and he's coming off a long layoff. So the last time we saw him was in February of 2019. He could be a little bit better here, and he's experienced. I mean, he's been fighting since 2011, so it's hard to find a lot of footage on him, but he's a skilled striker on the feet. He holds his hands low, but has very good feints, footwork, movement, really slick striking. He has really nice kicks, heavy low kicks, round kicks, spinning kicks, and he throws all those with really little to no tell. Fast hands, throws nice jabs, good 1-2s, good head movement, good composure, good footwork. There are a lot of unknowns with Saldana, though. All 12 of his wins are via finish, or all 13, and he's 0-3 in decisions. And he has been TKO'd in the 3rd round as well before. I haven't seen Saldana really wrestle much in fights, but that's probably what he struggles with because he has been submitted twice with rear naked chokes. He does have quite a few submissions of his own, though, a lot of triangles, and he's long, he has flexible hips, so I assume he has maybe a pretty solid guard. And this is a close fight to call because I feel like the reach, the footwork, and the athleticism is all on Saldana's side, but Murdock is maybe a little bit, more of a dog. But I'm actually going to go with the underdog on the betting line, or who I think is going to be the underdog, potentially. I mean, there's no lines yet. Murdock is a pretty good boxer, and if he can pressure, get inside, he has good knees, pretty good dirty boxing. But he gets hit a lot, and he's not really the best at getting inside. And he will, sit on the outside a lot and not really do much. I think Saldana, if he can land a couple low calf kicks, make Murdock slower, then try to pick him apart with his big reach and speed advantage, he could, potentially pull the upset here. He also won his last fight by rear naked choke against a pretty good guy. He showed he's improved his grappling. Both fighters are coming off layoffs, are the same age, but Saldana, I've seen him training at Fight Ready, and Murdock, he had to go through that health scare, so there's a lot of unknowns with that, and Saldana could get exposed here. Murdock maybe is the safer play, but Saldana is a guy who's been fighting since he was a teenager. He has a lot of early losses. He's clearly a good striker, very athletic, and I feel like he has the ability to level up now that he's at a good camp. So I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to go with Saldana via first round knockout here. And in the 3rd fight of the night, we have an interesting matchup here with Pauline Macias taking on Gloria de Paula. And Pauline Macias, she's 4-0. She's coming out of Factory X, and her last 3 fights are in LFA. So when you look at it on paper that way, and then you look at Gloria, she's 4-2. She's coming off a year layoff. She's has 2 losses, like I said. So she's not really fought in the best promotions either. So when you look at it like that, you would think Pauline is probably going to win the fight. But Gloria, she's fought higher level competition. Her 2 losses are to current UFC fighters. And she's a long striker. She has good straight punches. She hits hard. She's aggressive. She is improving takedown defense as well. She's training a lot with Mayra Buena Silva on the ground. So I'm sure she's getting better on the ground as well. But in the clinch, she has good tie plumb, good knees. And she'll roll for leg locks, decent arm bars. she's a former Muay Thai striker, and Macias, she's someone that has a really good pedigree in judo, but really bad striking, stiff, low volume, hands low, bad defense. She's a good athlete and she throws hard, goes for it. You could tell that she's, been like a lifetime athlete, decent level changes, and she looks like, in the clinch she's going to be a problem for some girls, but she doesn't set shots up with, her punches very well, and she couldn't take down a 2-2 opponent in her last fight and barely won a split decision. If I saw Pauline, being a grinder, constantly getting takedowns, pushing a pace, or pushing people against the cage, I would be more inclined to be confident in her. But we've seen Pauline grinded on by Isabella de Padua, who took down who was that, Lipsky in the UFC, and controlled her a little bit, and so it's potentially that Pauline could grind her out here. I see 90% of Tapology's predicted Macias to win. I kind of find that insane. I think that Gloria has a big chance to win this fight here. I mean, I feel like Pauline is a girl that's very raw. On the feet, she's not very good. Doesn't really have the best takedowns for MMA. And I think Gloria is more athletic, the better striker, dangerous in the clinch, has pretty, powerful shots, and is more experienced. So I'm actually going to go with Gloria de Paula to get this fight by decision here. In the co-main event here, we have a fight between Ignacio Bahamondes and Edson Gomez. And Ignacio is a prospect out of Chile, but now he's fighting out of Florida. And Bahamondes, he's tested himself with pretty good opposition in his last three. He's coming off an upset victory over Chris Brown. He's a pretty well-known regional scene guy, and he's 10-3 in his career. His opponent, Edson Gomez, he's 6-1. He's fought much lesser competition. Gomez only has fought 2 opponents with winning records, and he's 1-1 in those fights, and he's coming off a big win though. He did defeat Danny Garcia, who's 6-1 in December, but when you look at that guy's record, it's a little bit weird as well, because all 6 of Danny Garcia's wins have come against guys that have 0 wins, so I don't truly know how good that guy is. And they say Gomez has finished all 6 of his wins by a knockout, but that's false. I mean, I watched this fight with Travis Williams, who's 2-2, and he was losing the entire fight prior to catching a Kimura in the second round. His loss came by way of decision, and he's a wild striker. His takedown defense is not very good, though. He can be taken down, isn't very good off bottom. I've seen him, taken down by guys in the regional scene that don't really set their takedowns up very well, that don't really look very good, but he's scrappy. He stays in the fight. He creates scrambles. He tends to kind of take a beating early in a lot of fights, get taken down, get dominated, but has grit, has cardio, and he overcomes, comes back, and finishes when his opponents get tired. And he can wrestle a little bit. That's kind of his path to victory in this fight. I mean, Bahamondes has been submitted a couple times. He's a kickboxer. Gomez, he kind of throws bombs and will try to get you in the clinch and take you down sometimes. So I feel like that's probably his best chance to win besides landing a big shot. For Ignacio, I mean, he's going to be the way better striker. He's going to have the big height and reach advantage. He has the speed advantage as well. Great kicks, nice counter punches, knees down the middle. He's long, he's rangy. Good job of pressuring, but he stays at his range. Picks and pulls, good pull counters, and he has 7 knockouts. But his grappling isn't the best. I mean, I've seen Ignacio taken down, controlled. He has an okay clinch game, and he will work his guard off bottom. But I feel like if he gets taken on by Gomez, Gomez is a wild man. Probably be in a little bit of trouble if he unloads with some ground and pound. He needs to keep it standing, but I'm going to go with Bahamondes here by first round knockout or decision. I just believe he's the cleaner, better striker, much longer. He's fought better competition. I'm not super confident, though, because he's young, he's green, and Gomez is a little bit of a wild man, but the pick for me is going to be Ignacio Bahamondes, and I'll probably say by decision. And in the main event, this is a really strange fight to me. It's an intriguing fight, but it's kind of a weird matchup. We got Carlos Ulberg taking on Bruno Oliveira, and it's going to be at 205 pounds. Ulberg, he's taking the fight on short notice. He's replacing KB Bular, who we saw fight in the UFC, and he's an interesting choice for Contender Series. He's only 2-0 in MMA. He also hasn't fought an MMA fight in nearly 2 years, but he's a city kickboxing product, and he actually went to Abu Dhabi, trained with the team, Riddell, Adesanya, Kaikar, France, and he's obviously going to get better doing that. How much better? I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't know how much he's been training MMA. it's hard to say because Oberg actually had his first MMA fight all the way back in 2011. Then he took that 7-year break, came back in 2018, had a few kickboxing fights after that, and he's now coming back to MMA. So his opponent, Bruno Oliveira, he's a veteran. He's 8-1. He's also coming off a long layoff, though. He hasn't fought in over a year. The last time we did see him fight, he did get an impressive knockout victory over Jared Gooden. And he's going to be making the move up to 205 pounds this fight. He's normally a 185er. He's never fought at 205 before, so it's going to be interesting. But he is 6'4", so he has a decent frame for the division. He's 36 years old, which is a bit strange to see and kind of concerning for the Contender Series. And Oberg, he looks the part. He has a big frame. He's very athletic. He's explosive. He gives good fakes, good feints. He switches stances. He cuts angles really well. Real nice jab. His lead left hook is lightning. His really tight, accurate punches. Really heavy overhand right. When he goes, first and closes the distance, he's super dangerous. He, would use his jab to close the distance, flurry with big hooks. Really nice front kicks up the middle, knees, low kicks, high kicks. He's good in the pocket. He'll dig the body. He'll pull counter. Good chin. In his last MMA fight, though, he was super low volume, and I don't know why that was. Whether it was because that was his first MMA fight in 7 years or fearing the takedown. I mean, obviously it was probably a mixture of both, but Oberg is a tough dude, though. I've seen him drop multiple times, including with a spinning heel kick right on the chin in a kickboxing fight, and came back, put a beating on his opponent in the 3rd round, almost finished him and got the decision victory. I mean, it was kickboxing where he did get dropped hard. I feel like in MMA he probably would have got finished, but they had the 10 count, and Oberg can get backed up and bombed on at times, and also get a little bit wild in the pocket, but he's going to be clearly, I feel like, the better striker in the matchup. He's going to have the more one-shot power, I believe, because he's going to be the lot bigger guy. He's fought at heavyweight before. He's, training with those guys at City Kickboxing, very technical. And there's way more footage of Oberg out there than Bruno Oliveira. I was only able to find an old fight of Oliveira's against a 2-8 fighter named Bob Wrestler, where he knocked him out in less than 2 minutes with a really nasty pull counter straight right hand. The other fight you can watch is on Fight Pass, and it's him versus Jared Gooden, who's actually scheduled to fight Alan Jouban in the UFC coming up, and he finished Gooden inside of 1 minute with a really sick barrage of shots against the cage. The ref let it go way too long, man. It was absolutely ruthless finish. But all I can really surmise is the guy's a good athlete. He has great timing, and he has power. He's fast. He's long, especially for middleweight when he was 6'4". Ulberg's height isn't listed on Tapology or Sherdog, but he looks like quite a bit taller than Israel Asanya, who's 6'4". So he's probably like a 6'6" guy, probably. Oliveira is training out of American Top Team, so he definitely is getting good training in. He does have a lot more cage experience, but he's only, really fought 3 guys of note. All the other fighters were guys with losing records. In those 3 fights, he's 2-1. He has 1 submission loss, those 2 KO wins. And in his fight with he has a decision win and a KO win, excuse me. And in the fight with Jared Gooden, I mean, he landed a straight right behind the ear, swarmed him, landed some nasty elbows, knees, a crazy combination, and just melted him. But this is a tricky fight because I'm not really sure at all how Oliveira's grappling is. He seems like a striker. He only has 1 submission win. All the other finishes are by KO TKO. I wasn't really super impressed with Ulberg's last MMA fight against John Frazier. Frazier kind of looked like a bloated up middleweight, and it was just a super low volume decision where Oberg looked a little bit timid, but if someone brings it out of him, I think he's going to be the type of guy to wake up, oblige, and go. And I'm going to go with Oberg by decision or finish here. If Oliveira really goes for it, I feel like Oberg's a naturally bigger guy who's the more polished striker, more athletic, and it's hard to overlook the experience of Oliveira. But like I said, I mean, if we look at his record here, I mean, these guys right here, I mean, they don't have a record list, but 2-7, 0-0, 1-2. The loss to the 4-2 guy right here, and then 0-1, 3-0, 14-3. So he does have more experience, but it's not like high level experience. And he's 36 years old. Oberg, he's at the better camp here. And, I mean, he hasn't fought anyone in MMA really either. I mean, this one fight in 2011 here, then he fought this 0-0 guy here, John Frazier, who's now 4-2. So I mean, he's decent. I guess he beat a 9-5 fighter. But I just feel like if this fight stays on the feet, Oberg, he's going to be the bigger guy, the cleaner striker, and I trust that City Kickboxing is going to have him ready. So I'm going to go with Ulberg here. And yeah, there you have it, guys. Those are the predictions for the Dana White Contender Series this week. Hopefully we do well. Thanks for watching. And like I said, I'm going to be putting in the description later the videos for Pub Sports Radio for odds.com. And make sure to check those out, please. And leave a like, leave a comment. Make sure that we show that we have a lot of support over there. And like always, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with the predictions for UFC later this week.